Hi, my name is Cherryie J. Davis. I'm the Theater Program Associate and also faculty for the Theater Department at Harlem School of the Arts. Well, Hope Speaks started as an experimental theater piece by the Movement Theater Company as a part of our Ladder series, which is about developing works. And it is a show that examines the experience of different Americans on November 4th, 2008, the night that Obama was elected president of the United States. It focuses specifically on the day because we thought it was interesting that no matter how you voted or if you voted, if you were younger, older, black, white, Latino, Republican, Democrat, Independent, you had an interesting experience that day in particular. So we thought it was an interesting experiment to sort of interview people and put it on stage and make it into a theater piece. So that's Hope Speaks. Well, we came up with Hope Speaks because we all, as a company, are pretty. We're all living in the same sort of theater environment. We're all young, and we all realized we all had different experiences. You know, a lot of us voted Obama, but a lot of us had different experiences that day, from our own personal emotions to where we were. And so we said, wow, if we're, very similar and have different experiences, then we want to go out and talk to other people and see what their experiences were. So we decided to go out and interview a bunch of different people, some professors, some friends, some parents, grandparents, and people we didn't even know, politicians, and talk to them about where they were on November 4th and how it's affected their lives. And then we decided to just interview and study their interviews, and in addition to create original pieces, mesh them together and have this sort of time capsule of November 4th, 2008. And that became Hope Speaks, and it's a growing piece. It shifts with every year. At this point, it's been almost 2 years since Obama's been in office, but it's interesting to sort of see it as a time capsule. The Movement Theater Company is a young company. I'm very proud to be a member of the company. It started out of NYU, and it's a company that sort of came out of the need for new works of color, works by artists of color, art for playwrights, directors, photographers, designers of color, and really wanting to get out there and not just rely on other people to tell our story, but to tell our own stories. And we always thought it was interesting that we, as I guess younger people of color, had a different idea of theater, aside from the fact that there are, all these different companies out there. We had such a different concept of what theater is, and I guess the importance of theater as a social tool, a social and political tool. And so I'm very proud to be a member of the Movement Theater Company. We just celebrated our 3rd year, and we've got our first Delco nominations this past year for our first main stage of Bintu, and it's terribly exciting that the company is now becoming respected as a important theater company and a company on the up. So I'm very proud. The fact that we're going to Baltimore to do Hope Speaks is terribly exciting, especially because I don't think any of the cast members or even the Movement Theater Company really understood the power of the piece when it was being created. And even when we first performed it in Harlem here at HSA, we didn't imagine that it would 2 years later still be going. And now we've gotten offers to perform in Senegal, perform in different parts of the country, in California. So it's really exciting that we're going to Baltimore, and each state and city has its own people, has its own flavor, has its own accents. So one of the things that we took with it is, with every place we went, we wanted to interview people and add them to the narrative of the show. We have our New York interviews and people that we know that we are portraying on stage, but we also wanted to have Baltimore people. So we interviewed a few politicians, some local accountants, just everyone who we felt might have an interesting take on their own experiences of November 4th, 2008. And it's been pretty fruitful. So I'm pretty excited to see what different flavor Baltimore has to give than New York, for example. I'm excited.